In August of 2021, we took our Scamp down to Assateague National Seashore, which is on the coast of Maryland. So we were camping on the barrier island that is famous for having wild horses. It's a little bit more overcast today, which is actually kind of nice. And it's only 77 degrees instead of 97 like the other day. That was hot. We're trying to be extra careful with the sun because we were trying to be extra careful yesterday. I thought we were being extra careful.
Keep going straight.
Yeah, keep going straight. Life of the Forest Trail, we'll come back to that. Okay. We're gonna go all the way to the end to the over sand vehicle area.
Over sand.
Yeah, that's the other hiking trail. When we went to the beach yesterday, like, we know we're pale. We don't do well in the sun. We burn really easily, so we were like putting on sunscreen. I had my giant hat on for like pretty much the whole time I was at the beach. I had my shirt on for most of it. I took it off for just a little while and we still got burnt like good. So we're trying to stay a lot more covered up right now. And I think one of the things that I'm going to rethink for the next trip that we do like this is getting clothing that's just better at protecting you from the sun without making you feel super hot and sweaty, if that's possible, because we just don't do well in the sun no matter what. We just have to stay covered, especially if we want to be able to sleep at all without being covered in sunburn. The first trail that we were going to explore was at the very end of Bayberry Drive. Oh, it's those holes again. Oh my gosh. When we ran that over with the Scamp, I thought it was gonna break. Each of the 3 hiking trails at Assateague highlights a different ecosystem on the barrier island. The Life of the Dunes trail shows how the dune grass and other plants are so important at holding the sand in place to form a protective barrier. There's a road.
Huh.
Oh, the seagulls like to drop clams on it to break them open. Wow. They almost developed the island.
Really?
Yeah. They had cleared it for 130 side streets off of here. So it would have been just like Ocean City or any other place. If you've ever been to a typical shore town, they cram the houses into every square inch of free space. And that overbuilding tends to erase any experience of the natural setting that barrier island had. And that makes Assateague a really special place. Now, even though it's very special, it still has its strong challenges. Pretty neat.
Yeah. I like the shade and the pine.
There are many places where you can go to a boardwalk or beachfront shops and stores and see condos perched on the beach. But there are so few places where you can see the natural state that a barrier island exists in. The farther we went into the dune trail, the more we met the local inhabitants. Oh my gosh. This is a cool tree. Can't stop. Gotta keep moving. Too many bugs. Keep moving, keep moving. Very cool tree. Okay. Back to the car. Good thing the trails are short and we were able to make a quick exit and head over to the beach. Now, when you're walking around Assateague, you never know when you're going to see a horse. And as we took the boardwalk onto the beach, there was a horse just sitting there, enjoying itself. And then we looked over at the dunes and there was another horse. This horse clearly did not see the sign about the importance of protecting the dune grass. Every year there are approximately 60 foals that are born on Assateague Island. So to prevent the herd from getting too large, every July, a group known as the Saltwater Cowboys brings some of the horses across to Assateague Island where they are auctioned off. The proceeds from that go to support the local volunteer fire department as well as paying for veterinary care for the horses throughout the year. Since we found ourselves on the beach again, you know Patrick couldn't resist jumping in the water and going for a swim and doing a little body surfing. Yeah, so 110 just for the day?
I guess.
Whoa.
That's pricey.
That's pricey. Must be a good revenue generator for the park.
Have a season. Hopefully
there's a season pass.
Yeah, season pass.
If you're here for like a week.
Oh, look at that. They'll expose you on the beach.
Yeah. It's a neat concept, but I feel like it would be rough.
At nighttime, it would be really cool.
At night, it would be awesome. We headed back down Bayberry Ave, and this time we were going to the Life of the Forest Trail. This is another short trail highlighting one of the special ecosystems on the barrier island. And this time we were prepared with the bug spray. The trail starts in the forest and then brings you out onto a long boardwalk, which is a great platform to look for all sorts of different birds and wildlife. The egret. Another one of the interesting challenges of being on a barrier island is the constant wind, and it can be pretty strong at times, so you have to watch your hat. There were a lot of hats and things that were underneath the walkway that had obviously been blown over. We followed the walkway back into the forest so that we could drive to the next of the 3 hiking trails, and that's the Life of the Marsh Trail. This is the one that is the closest to our camp spot. You could actually walk here from a loop very easily. Ticks. Is that a spider web?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like a thing of twine.
Because they're so big. It looks like fishing line.
Fishing line, yeah.
The Life of the Marsh Trail is a big circular raised walkway, which is another spot that's great for watching wildlife. We saw this egret and some crabs and fish, all sorts of things in the marsh. When you go all the way to the end of the loop, we found a little stairway that went down to a secret spot on the bay. There's this little walkway that comes out to this beach area, and there were hardly any people there. It was such a nice, inviting spot. We knew exactly what we wanted to do for the rest of the afternoon.
There's a shoe there.
Yeah. We went back over to the Scamp to have some lunch and get all the things that we needed to go back to the bay for the afternoon. And we found ourselves surrounded by the horses again. And it was interesting to see that the people are not the only ones that are bothered by the bugs on Assateague. The poor horses, you can see that the mosquitoes and the flies don't leave them alone either. He's itchy. Aww. We enjoyed our lunch with a view of some horses outside at our campsite, but then the horses started to continue along down the road to see what was going on at the next camping loop, and we gathered our things to go back to the life of the Marsh Trail over to our secret little beach on the bay. The secret spot. It's not really secret, but
Not so much.
just not really written on the map.
No. Crab? Where?
The bay had some very interesting wildlife. I saw a crab walking toward Patrick, and then he spotted these small jellyfish that were floating all around us. They were a little bit hard to see, and it was tricky to catch it on the camera, but they have iridescent lines going down them. Oh my gosh, he's so cool. If you look really closely, you can see the light catching the iridescence in the jellyfish. At first we were a little bit scared that maybe they were stinging jellyfish, but they were totally fine and they were so pretty to look at. We enjoyed spending time on the bay side. The water is so calm and warm, and there's a lot of wildlife around. I watched this group of ducks walk around for a while. I saw some tiny fish swimming around in the shallows, and then I spotted this horseshoe crab just walking around looking for a meal. It was nice to spend some time on the bay side of the island. It's a bit quieter over there, the water is calmer, and you get to see all of these animals that make their home in the marsh. We watched this egret for a while, looking around for some dinner, but we had one more plan for the day. It was the first night that we were at Assateague Island that it wasn't thundering. So we wanted to go down to the beach and enjoy a nice sunset. Thanks for being here and sharing this trip with us. We have one more video from our trip to Assateague to share with you, so I hope you'll stick around for that.
Well, you worried about you and me, the injustice, the next president to be, the news and what you hear, your career. It's time for you to face those fears, and it's all fair to be aware, and I'll be there, so don't be scared. Just take a deep breath of air, and 1, 2, 3 to 10, you begin to focus again, and though time flies, we have enough to realize this bigger than the both of us.